There was a time not too long ago when people from all over the world flocked to Dubai. Why? To keep their dreams and, yeah, their money safe. It was the ultimate global haven. But that was before the sky, quite literally, started falling.
Okay, so let's just dive right into the big question on everyone's mind. When you have missiles glinting in the night sky and the sound of explosions, everything changes. So is the city we all saw as the pinnacle of safety now trapped in a war it never asked for?
All right, so to really get what's going on, we have to rewind to the attack itself. This was the moment that just shattered Dubai's carefully polished image of peace and total security. And this really shows you the whiplash. The whole story has been flipped on its head. What was famous around the world as the City of Dreams is now dealing with a terrifying new soundtrack, the echo of missiles.
Now, if you just look at the numbers, the response looks like a huge success. With help from the US and Israel, Dubai's defense systems took out over 90% of the incoming threats. We're talking hundreds of missiles and drones from Iran. That's a technological marvel for sure.
But, and this is the part that changes the entire story, the real problem wasn't the missiles they stopped. It's what happens after you blow them up in midair. You get heavy, mangled pieces of metal just raining down over a super crowded city.
And listen, this isn't some what-if scenario. The damage was very, very real. Debris sparked a fire near a hotel in the super exclusive Palm Jumeirah. The iconic Burj Al Arab, it actually got hit, with damage to its outer walls. And critically, work ground to a halt at the Jebel Ali port, which is a major lifeline for trade. Tragically, official reports confirmed 3 deaths and dozens of injuries. The threat is absolutely tangible.
So all that physical damage, that's really only half of it. What it's created is this psychological impact that's just as damaging. Behind all the geopolitical headlines, there's a real human cost as this atmosphere of fear just takes over. And to understand the scale of this, just look at this number. There are about 3.5 million Indian nationals alone living and working in Dubai. That's millions and millions of lives that have been thrown into complete uncertainty, practically overnight. And that huge number, it has a voice. The same wealthy celebrities and business owners who used to flood Instagram with pictures of Dubai's glamour, well, now they're sending these desperate messages back home, saying things like, "Sir, we are stuck here. Please get us out." It's becoming a common plea.
Emma's fear, it's hitting every single part of society. You've got laborers and work camps totally worried because the massive construction projects are being put on hold. You have students, like a group of 84 from Pune on a study trip, who are now just stranded in their hotels. You have thousands of tourists stuck at the airport. And of course, you have families who are now forced to question the future they thought was so secure.
So all this fear, it's not just a feeling. It has a price tag. It inevitably spills over into the city's lifeblood, its economy. The really crucial thing to see is how this fear is directly hitting the market that Dubai's entire reputation was built on.
And that pressure is really building on the main pillars of Dubai's economy. Real estate and tourism are feeling the most heat, and it makes sense, right? Those sectors are built from the ground up on the idea of safety and stability. That dream of buying a second home in Dubai, which was a huge global status symbol, well, it's cooled off. Developers are delaying new project announcements, and buyers are just hitting pause. The entire market, the very foundation of Dubai's glittering image, has gone into this very cautious wait-and-watch mode. And this shows you exactly how a big strategic threat becomes a problem in your own kitchen. The disruption at the Jebel Ali port kicks off a domino effect. First, it slows down all the essential imports. Then, that makes residents worried, so they start hoarding supplies. And that panic buying, in turn, makes the prices for basic stuff like milk and bread just shoot up. So that brings us to the million-dollar question, why Dubai? This is a city famous for commerce, not conflict. Why did it get dragged into all of this? Well, the answer is that it's in a very strategic spot in a much, much bigger geopolitical game.
So, in military speak, Iran sees Dubai as a soft target. What does that mean? It's not a military base, it's not a fortress, but it is deeply connected to Iran's biggest enemies.
Let's just be really clear here. Experts all agree Iran's main target isn't Dubai itself, it's the United States. But Dubai has become this kind of proxy battleground because of where it is and who its friends are. From Iran's point of view, the logic is pretty simple. Dubai's amazing ports and modern facilities are, they allege, being used by the U.S. military for logistics and for gathering intelligence. And Iran has put out a very clear warning. Any country that helps our enemies will be considered a target. By that definition, Dubai is on their list.
So where does all this leave Dubai? Well, it's now fighting a war on two fronts. It's a battle for its physical survival, and maybe just as importantly, for its global reputation.
And this is a really fascinating dynamic to watch. On one hand, you have the physical war, using state-of-the-art air defense to shoot down missiles. But on the other hand, you have an information war. The government has brought in really strict censorship. We're talking heavy fines, even jail time, for anyone posting pictures of the attacks or the debris. It's a fight to control the skies and a fight to control the narrative.
But after all that, after all the effort, there's a new, pretty sobering reality that's sinking in. And it's captured perfectly by this quote from analysts. The illusion of absolute 100% security? It's gone. That promise, which was Dubai's biggest selling point to the world, has been broken. Which, of course, leaves us with some massive questions about what's next. Will Dubai ever get back that unique shine that drew the whole world to its shores in the first place? Or is it destined to become a sort of geopolitical sandwich, just squeezed between the agendas of global superpowers? And maybe this is the most important question of all. Can the city that was, just yesterday, seen as the world's safest haven, can it possibly save its own reputation tomorrow? Right now, the future of the City of Dreams is hanging in the balance.